going downhill and it's going downhill quick. I'm Jamie, we're in the JP Test Kitchen and today we're making gourmet Pop Tarts, baby. I have always wanted to say that. I am living my best life right now. I am doing a baking video. I know this is a little bit different than what I typically do. We're not in the beauty room today, we're in my kitchen. But I really wanted to bake with you guys, and a couple days ago I posted that I made some Pop Tarts on my Instagram stories and you guys went nuts over it. I got so many questions about the recipe, how I did it. So I figured, you know what? Why not just bring you guys along with me on my Pop-Tart journey? I just hope that today I'm gonna make Claire Saffitz proud. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy today's baking video. Let me know if you wanna see more from me, and let's just get right into it. Let's talk Pop-Tarts. So I don't know about you guys, but Pop-Tarts were definitely a huge staple in my breakfast rotation as a kid. The strawberry Pop-Tarts specifically, oh my God, I just have such vivid memories eating these things and just loving them. So this is what the original strawberry Pop-Tart looks like. You can see it's just like a thin piece of pastry with some icing and some sprinkles. It honestly looks kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie. This is not what I remember my Pop-Tarts looking like. Oh wait, get a good shot of this. Oh yeah. Okay, that was really not as satisfying as I thought it would be. In the middle here, you have like an interesting jelly center. Now we're gonna taste it. They're so bad. And they're just really, really bland. Like there's not much flavor to it. So I do have a few other flavors here that I wanna just dig into. So this one is topped with real chocolate chips. Ooh, interesting. This doesn't really look like a Pop-Tart to me. It just looks like a giant cookie. So that's what that one looks like. It smells a lot better. It smells really nice and chocolatey. Let's see what the inside looks like. Oh God. Oh my God. This is good. So we're first gonna start off with the actual dough itself. So for the dough, you're gonna need white flour, sugar, salt, butter. That's chill. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna have to do, this is a very interesting angle, is we are going to mix in the flour, the sugar, and the salt. So it is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Then it is 4 teaspoons of sugar and then 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so then you just wanna toss these ingredients together with a whisk just so that they're all combined. So the next step is interesting because I don't have the tool that we're going to need to actually complete it. So we're gonna have to do a little, what's the word?
Je ne sais quoi.
No, not a je ne sais quoi. Not a magic, not a whisk. We're like improvising. We need to improvise because sometimes you don't have everything that you need, so you gotta make it work. So it says that we gotta toss the butter, not this entire stick, but quite a bit of it, into the dry ingredients. And then the interesting part is that you're supposed to take a cheese grater or like a box grater and grate the cold butter into the mixture. And I actually remember in the first recipe that I completed when I made these Pop-Tarts, instead of doing a box grater, I actually used this tool, very useful little tool, and I actually mashed the butter into the ingredients. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this recipe. The only grater that I have is this, and I don't think I need to zest the butter. I don't think that's what Claire wants. This is the best thing I ever bought off of Amazon. It's a smart weight scale. It's fantastic. I use this all the time when I'm baking. I'm basically just gonna weigh out this butter so that I have an exact amount. So we're looking for 284 grams. Oh my God. 172. 240. So close. I'm taking the butter and I'm plopping it into our flour, sugar, salt mixture. I'm taking my fingers and I'm just kind of gonna coat the butter with the flour so that it's not super sticky. And then I'm gonna take my little masher and I'm gonna mash it. Oh my God. Put some muscle into it. Until the pieces break up and they're small, like little lentils, lentil-sized butter pieces. Also keep in mind, this gets really messy. That's okay. Ah, shit. So the next step is to take some ice water. So I'm gonna go into my fridge and get some cold water. You need 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon. That feels about right. And you're gonna wanna mix the mixture as you're pouring the water in. And it's gonna start to get really, really crumbly. I love how I'm talking like I know what I'm doing. I really have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, then once you mix everything in, you're gonna wanna take your hands and toss the mixture several times to distribute the water evenly. So you wanna knead the dough with your hands till it comes together in a smooth mass with no spots of dry flour remaining. It smells really good. It smells like butter. I'm just gonna do that chef thing. I'm gonna take a towel and put in my apron so I can dry my hands on the go. Very convenient. I understand why they do that. So next you want to take some wax paper or some plastic wrap and you want to basically pack the dough within the paper and create a nice little compact square. I'm gonna dump out this dough. Oh, okay. I don't know why they said to use wax paper because it doesn't close onto itself. You have to like tape it. Oh. It says that you want to press it into a 1/2 inch thick square. So I'm taking out my rolling pin and you're supposed to roll over the dough so that it really compacts it in the little package you just made. This wax paper was a horrible idea. It's just not closing onto itself, obviously, so I'm just taking some plastic wrap and going over it just so it's really nice and tight. It's tight. If I was baking on my own, honestly, I would just leave it and just hope for the best, but everybody's watching, so figured I might as well be as careful as I possibly could. Beautiful. What a nice 1/2 inch square. So we are going to put her in the fridge for 2 hours to cool and to set, and now we're gonna work on the filling. Good night. So it's time for the filling. This is, I think, when you can have a little bit of fun. It says in the recipe to use strawberries. You don't have to use just strawberries. I think you could really use maybe any fruit, or at least any berry to be safe. I've never tried it with like mango, so I wouldn't know. But like I said, you can have a little bit of fun with it. You could even mix some fruits together if you want to get a little bit crazy. So I have here blueberries. I figured we would make a blueberry filling. And I also found some pomegranates in my freezer. Should we use pomegranates today? Is that kind of crazy?
No.
No? Horrible idea?
Who eats a pomegranate Pop Tart?
I mean, it is gourmet. I thought I would be fancy, but fine. So what you're gonna need for the filling, first of all, you need to preheat the oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's already going. Then you wanna take your fruit of choice. Like I said, you can really use, I think, whatever you want. Don't quote me on that. Then you're gonna want some sugar, some normal granulated sugar, some salt, vanilla extract, a lemon, and then you're also gonna want a large saucepan. So you want 20 ounces of your fruit of choice. Uh-oh, I don't have more blueberries. Okay, listen, we're getting gourmet in here. I don't have any more blueberries, so I'm putting in some pomegranate seeds. So hopefully this won't mess it up. I think it's gonna give it a nice, unique flavor. I'm kind of into it, honestly. So then you want 1/3 cup of sugar. Then you want to take a pinch of salt and 3 tablespoons of water. So then you want to bring your mixture to a simmer over medium heat. So I just put it at about a 5-6, and you want to cover it and just let it do its thing. While everything is heating up and simmering, you do want to give it a nice mix every once in a while, and you want to do this for about like 5 to 8 minutes. So this is what the mixture looks like before it is all melted down. So here's where we're at. She's looking very, very juicy right now. So everything is softened, and transfer everything to a blender. You can also use an immersion blender if you want. I'm just going to use a normal blender just because it's going to be way quicker and easier. I'll try to do this so it doesn't go everywhere. Success. So I'm just gonna blend this until it's smooth. Beautiful. Okay, so then you want to return it to the saucepan. Mmm. Oh my god, it's good. I mean, it tastes like blueberries, but I think that subtle hint of pomegranate made all the difference. So I'm gonna get this to a simmer and I'm gonna allow it to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. You do want to mix this with a heat-proof rubber spatula pretty often, it says. So I'm just gonna watch this for the next 15 minutes. So this is the texture right now. I think it's going to get a little bit thicker as it cooks and cooks down. Ooh, very nice. So once the filling is done cooking, we are going to be pouring it onto this baking sheet that's lined with a silicone mat. I got the silicone mat from Amazon in case you're wondering. And then we're gonna put it into the oven and let it cook. So the filling needs to cook for 45 to 60 minutes and you stir it every 15 minutes. And by the end, the filling should be the consistency of tomato paste. So quite like thick and jelly-like. So it's been 50 minutes. The filling is done cooking. So I'm gonna take it out and let it cool. Perfect. So this is what the filling looks like. The consistency looks to be pretty good. It's like a nice thick texture. I'm going to now just let this cool and then I'm going to transfer this into a bowl and then mix in the lemon and the vanilla. All right, let's talk sprinkles. So in the recipe, it does call for homemade sprinkles. There's a whole section on how to make them. But Claire, you are not my real dad and you cannot tell me what to do. So I'm not going to make these sprinkles today. I just feel like sprinkles are one of those things where it really can't taste much different from the packaged kind. And so I'm going to save myself some trouble. I'm not going to make the sprinkles today and I'm really just gonna focus on the filling and the dough. And I think that's totally fine. The sprinkles are really just, you know, the cherry on top of the sundae. It's not the sundae itself. All right, dough me. Yeah. All right, it's time to finally assemble. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to cut this piece of dough in half because we're only going to be working with 1/2 at a time. I'm going to take out one side of the dough, put it on the counter, and then wrap back up the other half and put it back in the fridge. Okay, so you want to work the dough on a lightly floured surface. So I'm taking a little bit of my white flour, I'm just sprinkling it on top of my surface over here. I have my ruler and I have my rolling pin. We're gonna wanna roll this out to a 14 by 10 inch rectangle. So it has to be a little bit over double what it is right now. So I'm gonna take my rolling pin. I'm actually gonna lightly flour that as well so it doesn't stick. And just work that dough. So my rectangle is not really looking very rectangular right now. It's looking a little bit irregular. So I'm actually gonna trim the edges to make them a little bit more straight and then continue to roll it out so that as I roll it out, it's in the actual shape that it should be in. All right, so here's the current situation of my dough. It is looking rectangular, thankfully. It's a little bit thin, but hopefully it's gonna hold up. Okay, so I actually need this baking sheet, so I gotta take the filling off of this. It's pretty much cooled down, so we're actually good to go. Should we like scrape it down, I guess? Yeah, ooh. Interesting texture, it's very jelly-like. In the last recipe that I followed, what I did instead was I just cooked the jam on the stovetop, and then I strained out the seeds using a fine mesh strainer, and then I just kind of let it reduce and thicken, and that's all that I did. This is a little bit more work, but I actually feel like the texture is much more jammy and jelly-like. I think it's better, so I'm happy that we tried or went with this method today. Now I'm just gonna take another silicone sheet. It does call for parchment paper. I unfortunately do not have any parchment paper in my house, so we're gonna have to make this work, but I'm going to just transfer this dough onto the sheet. Hopefully I don't rip it. Okay. The next thing that we gotta do is we gotta lightly score straight lines on the dough to make a 3x3 grid. So there should be 9 rectangles, and each rectangle is measuring 4.5 inches long and 3.25 inches wide. Math was never my strong suit. So I'm gonna take like a small little knife because we're just scoring this. We're not actually cutting through the dough, so you don't wanna actually puncture it. Each rectangle is supposed to be 4.5 inches long. So I'm just gonna mark 4.5 inches on the dough. Change of plans. We are making a grid that's 3x2, because I measured poorly. My dough shrunk in the wash. And it measures only 7 inches instead of 10 inches across, which is fine. We adjust. It's totally okay. Okay, I think that's a nice size Pop-Tart. I'm good with that. So we're gonna score, go down. Oh God. So more measuring. We need to now measure 1/4 inch into each rectangle and pretty much make a smaller rectangle within each rectangle, and that's where the jelly is gonna be. So come on closer and watch me do this. So I'm just gonna score right here, right here, right here. Oh my God, it's gonna take forever. So this is pretty much just to get the jelly even on all of the Pop-Tarts. If you're not too worried about making perfect Pop-Tarts, maybe you don't need to do this. If I wasn't filming this video, I probably wouldn't do this step just because I'm okay with them not being totally perfect. But I want to show you guys a perfect Pop-Tart in the end, so I'm giving you some extra effort today. So I'm just gonna continue that on all the rest of the rectangles, and I'll get back to you when we're finished. So I just popped the score dough in the fridge to chill for 10 to 15 minutes, and while that chills, I'm going to prepare the filling. So the filling right now is pretty much completely cooled, which is great. So we need some lemon. That was a good catch. And of course some vanilla. So for the vanilla, you just need about a teaspoon. If you're a professional like me, you won't need to measure it. Just, you know, eyeball. And then as far as the lemon juice goes, you basically put it to taste, so however much you want. I'm gonna put about half a lemon, and you could also grate in some lemon zest if you want a little bit of extra lemony essence to your filling. So the filling is good to go. It's ready to be placed onto the Pop-Tarts themselves. We just got to pretty much wait until it chills and we'll be good to go. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes. Time to take out the scored dough and we're gonna fill it up. So I'm just gonna take some of my filling, put it in the center, and you wanna fill up the inner rectangle that we created. You want to kind of just spread a nice even layer. All right, so my filling has been placed, so now I'm gonna pop it back into the fridge for, I think, another 10-15 minutes. So remember when we cut our dough in half, now it's time to take out the second half from the fridge, and then you wanna roll it out into another 14 by 10 rectangle, or whatever shape you ended up rolling your dough into. Mine was definitely a little bit smaller, so I'm gonna have to adjust, but you basically just want it to be the exact same size so that you can cover it and it fits perfectly. All right, once you have it rolled out, you wanna take a fork and prick it all over for ventilation. So now it's time to crack an egg. So the egg white is gonna be used for the icing later on, and then the actual egg yolk is going to be used for the brushing of the pastry. So I'm just gonna crack an egg over this small bowl. I'm gonna let the egg white drip into here. And then I'm gonna take the egg yolk and put it into another bowl. And I'm just gonna set this aside. Going back into my mini whisk, I'm just gonna take this egg yolk and just beat it just so that it's blended. Remove the chilled filled pastry from the fridge. So now I'm gonna take my egg yolk and a little brush, and I'm just going to brush the egg yolk in between the filling. Try not to disturb the filling as best as you can. Okay, so now it's time to take the top layer of pastry and lay it on top of the Pop-Tarts. Oh my God, it's too small! Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay. Just a little bit short, so I'm just gonna do a little quick one over with the rolling pin. Oh, okay, I think we're good. So now I'm just kind of pressing down the edges where there's no filling, so where we put the egg wash, kind Kind of impossible to see where that is, but I'm just feeling it out. You want to press firmly to seal it. Okay, and once they are sealed, you want to take a knife. I'm taking this bench scraper, and I'm just going to cut in between. Okay, and I'm gonna put them back in the fridge for another 10 to 15 minutes. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to finally bake the Pop Tarts. So my oven has been set for 300 degrees. This has been cooling for about 12 minutes. So I'm gonna take out my Pop Tarts. They look so ugly, you guys. I'm honestly horrified. They just look like square peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They're gonna end up being nice. Once they're golden brown and iced up, they'll be fine, so I'm not too worried. I'm gonna put them in the oven now for 30 to 35 minutes. So I'll put it for 30, we'll check them out, and if they're not golden enough, then we will do 5 more minutes. Once they're done cooking, they should be golden, they should be puffed, they should look like a Pop-Tart. So we'll see how they are after 30 minutes. You guys, I can't talk anymore. I feel like I'm going crazy. I've been spending 5 hours making these Pop-Tarts. So now it's time to make the icing that goes on top of the Pop-Tart. So I'm gonna take the little bowl that has my reserved egg white from earlier, and I'm gonna take a pinch of salt and my mini whisk, my favorite kitchen utensil, and you're supposed to whisk it until it's foamy. This is a forearm workout. All right, that's foamy. Very nice. So now you wanna take your icing sugar, and I'm gonna take 2 full cups, but you do wanna add a little bit at a time so that it doesn't become too overwhelming while you're mixing. And you just wanna, oh God. Okay, chef tip, take a towel, wrap it around your bowl so that it doesn't move while you're whisking. All right, see how it's becoming nice and thick and opaque? That's what you wanna see. Oh, it says you may not need all of the sugar. Well, I definitely did not need all of the sugar. Okay, it's too thick, so I'm actually gonna put a little bit of cold water in here. Just thin it out a little bit, because I definitely didn't need to use all of that icing sugar, but I did. That was silly on my part. So you wanna take 2 tablespoons of icing and put it in a Ziploc bag, and you're gonna use this to pipe the border. You pretty much just need an icing bag so that it's nice and precise. If you don't have one, no stress. You can also just, I don't know, freehand it. Take 2 big spoonfuls, about 2 tablespoons, into the bag. Just want to push all of the icing into the corner. All right, so I'm just gonna finish this up and I'll show you guys what it looks like because I don't think this is gonna be very exciting to watch. It's the moment of truth. We finally made it. It's 5 p.m. and my Pop-Tarts are gorgeous. Wow. So let me just make sure they are indeed golden on the bottom. No, they're not golden on the, okay. False alarm, everybody. They're going back in for 5 more minutes. All right, guys, the Pop-Tarts are done. They're cooled down, and now it's time to find the ice. So I have my icing bag right over here. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to just cut the tiniest little hole right at the end. And I'm going to ice a border around each Pop-Tart. This one obviously got a little bit messed up, that's okay. So once that border sets, then you wanna kind of just flood the inside. These two have connected. They are one now. This is going downhill, and it's going downhill quick. Okay, while the icing is still wet, you wanna take some sprinkles, whether they're homemade or not. You wanna sprinkle them up. And there's my little Pop-Tart. She's beauty, she's grace. Listen, she's not perfect, but I'm sure she's delicious. Okay guys, it's the moment of truth. 6 hours later, we have our finished product, and here is my homemade Pop-Tart compared to the original Pop-Tart. And I gotta say, side by side, mine looks way more appetizing. This one just looks like a really big cracker. Getting close here. Oh, bitch! Look at that. That's good stuff. Oh yeah. I kind of wish I would have cooked the actual Pop-Tart itself a little bit longer. I feel like it could be just cooked a little bit more to be a little bit crispy. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's flaky, it's buttery, it's delicious. I mean, what could really be bad about it? All right, guys, that's it for my very first baking video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you also maybe got inspired to make some Pop-Tarts. And if you do, you have to send me a picture. You have no choice. Send it to me on Instagram, tweet me on Twitter. It doesn't matter. I just need to see it, and of course, be reposting all of your recreations. And once again, thank you so much to Bon Appetit, and big shout out to Claire Saffitz for just being a huge source of inspiration for this video, and just a huge source of entertainment in general, because Bon Appetit is literally the only thing that I watch every single night. All right, guys, that's it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.